Morning. Okay, why don't we get started? So we started this tshuva yesterday about a person who had sent his friend to take a bag, a suitcase, whatever you want to call it, up to his parents in Haifa. The guy forgot it on the bottom of the bus. And the question is, what is his level of liability? Um, so Rav Shirag is coming down hard on this guy, and he's got the status of a posheya, and he has to pay. So that's where we were yesterday. And he had just cited the Nasivas, who said that he has the status that a person in a similar situation had the status of a mazik, and therefore, since he hasn't done anything proactively, he may not qualify as a mazik. But nonetheless, Rav Shraga feels that the Nasivas is a minority opinion. And so therefore, anytime you forget something, you forget where you left something, and as a result, you can't make good on your proxyship. You were dispatched to bring something to someone or to watch over something, and now you don't know where it is. You just forgot. So that's not a forgetfulness is not an excuse. And here I have some proof here, he says, that when you forget something, you can't say, well, I'm sorry, I just forgot. It's happened to me before, unfortunately, where someone gave me something to bring from Israel to back to the States, and I couldn't find it. I think I probably neglected to pack it in my luggage, and it may have been left in my hotel room or wherever I was staying. I felt terrible. And I told the person, I'm happy to cover whatever costs are involved. I just forgot it. I can't find it in my suitcase. Has that ever happened? Well, in one case, when I was a teenager, it happened, and it was a set of little svarim, and then I didn't know the halacha. I just apologized to the guy. I didn't know what happened to his little chovrot. And then in this case that happened about maybe a dozen years ago, 10 years ago, maybe, it was a set of keys. And I said, I apologize. I don't know what happened to it. It was during a war. It was during a war. It was 1 second. So what war was 10 years ago? Yeah, it was probably 2014. Yeah, Gaza incursion. And so I was staying in a hotel in Tel Aviv. I was on a Federation mission, and I was asked to bring back a set of keys. I thought I had packed it, but I guess maybe I never did. Okay. So you forget, you're gonna be chayiv. So mimasha kosav hatrumas hadeshen b'maisa sheruven hifkid etzel shimon masayim zuhuvim v'hinicham bekad katan tachas mitaso. He says there's a story in the Gemara, or actually not in the Gemara. The Trumas Hadeshen writes this. He's a Rishon. He says Ruvain gave Shimon 200 gold pieces. Shimon went ahead and put them in a jug underneath his bed. Zman barcha tarnagoles shalevi lebeso shel Shimon. Later on, Levi's chicken ran into Shimon's house. He was trying to escape Levi's house, and he fled into Shimon's house for safety. Ubikesh Levi lihikones lebeso lachapes acharetanogolas. And Levi asked permission. May I enter your home and look for my chicken? Okay, has this ever happened to you? V'nichnas v'chipes tachas hamitos ushar mekomos limtzos atarnagolas. And Levi scoured the house, including looking under the beds, to see if he could find the chicken. The Shimon sounds like an episode of Green Acres. The Shimon shachach shetachas amita nimtsoim hazehuvim shel Ruven. Oh, welcome back, Izzy. Yeah. In the flesh. I'm just going to say, would you mind standing up against the wall. Yeah. The Shimon Shachach Shetachas Amita Nimsoim Hazehuvim Shel Ruvain. And Shimon forgot that he had left Ruvain's gold pieces in a jug underneath his bed. And so Ruvain now comes to reclaim his gold pieces, and Shimon realizes, hey, it's either that chicken or his owner that has taken my gold pieces. And the Truma Sadeshin Paskin, who's liable? Shimon. He says he was negligent because Shehir Shalalevi Lachapes Tachas Amitos. He gave Levi permission to check under all the beds. Because he had forgotten that he had placed the gold pieces under his bed for safekeeping. You see from here that forgetfulness is a form of negligence. In other words, let's say Levi denies it. Levi says, I would never steal. God, chas v'shalom, you're accusing me of thievery? How dare you, sir? And then, of course, he buys his wife a new car, and the next week, and no one can figure out how he got the money. Okay, v'yesh lahavi od raya. Here's another proof. Sheshecha chahavi kipshia. Meha gemara bebava mitzia. Here's a piece of gemara that shows that forgetting something is a form of pshia. V'shnayim sheifkidu eitzel echad, ze mone v'ze masayim. Two people each one left an object for safekeeping with Shimon. One left $100 and the other one left $200. V'chol echad oimer hamasayim shali. Each one claims that I left you 200 for safekeeping. Okay, v'hashomer lo zocher minasan lo mea o minasan lo masayim. And Shimon can't remember which one of you guys gave me 100 and which one gave me 200. Hadinhu shenosein l'chol echad masayim. Halachically, since he doesn't know, he's what we call a shema. He says, I don't know. I don't remember which one of you gave me what. So his claim is, one of you is lying, obviously, because I have $300 in cash. I know that one of you gave me 100, the other one gave me 200. I just don't remember. So on the one hand, maybe you could argue, let him just put down the $300 when both of them come to his house and walk away. No, can't do that. It's his responsibility to know, to keep an inventory, to keep a record of who gave him the 100 and who gave him the 200. Kevin Shahaya Alav Lizkar Minasan Masayim. He should have remembered and kept good records. The Imshacha Chuposheya. The Lachain Chayav Lashalim Lachalechad Masayim. And if he doesn't do that, he's a Posheya. No, not a good time to be Shimon. Yeah. Well, it's no different. Let's say you let your housekeeper come into your house, and keeping something under your bed it's one thing if it's your stuff and you trust your housekeeper. I wonder if there's cases like that where in the court says person who left it for safety, it got stolen, but you let Maria come and clean the house every Monday and Thursday. So there's a good chance that, maybe she took it. Yeah. What I was thinking of is, what if a person suffers from memory loss? What if a person is in cognitive decline? Dementia, right? Can they be held legally responsible if people thought that the guy was mentally sound, but now he's having bouts with amnesia because of his mental decline? Can that be a claim of, it wasn't pshia because at the time it was given to me, I was lucid, but later on as I got older, maybe the guy left it with me 5 years ago, and now he says, I want it back. And by that time, the guy's in cognitive decline. I wonder how that's going to affect the halacha. Could a person, I'm sure this has happened in real life, where a person is in charge of a large fund, and then he gets sick, and he can't remember a lot of stuff. Listen, we elected a guy president in the U.S. He's in cognitive decline, right? He certainly probably can't remember a lot of the things that he was elected to do. So, yeah, right. What? Yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be that there is a pshia there that he doesn't have proper records. Anything you let us know if you find anything in okay. V'chein mashma b'divrei Rashi b'beitza da'atam shepasak rava shein osen erev tavshilin biyom tov u'mishum gezerah shema yifsha. So there's an opinion in the Gemara of Rava that you cannot make an erev tavshilin on Yontif to allow you to cook on Yontif for Shabbos. And Rava's concern was that you may be negligent. And what do those words mean? Upirish Rashi Sham, Shema Yishkach v'lo ya'arev mishum detarid. Maybe you'll forget to make an Erev Tavshilin. And therefore, we can't allow you to cook on Yontif for Shabbos because there's a lot of stuff going on before Yontif, and you may forget. Harei Shapirish Rashi, the Masha Kosov B'Gemara Shema Yivsha Hainu Shema Yishkach, Mashma Mizeh Sheshichacha Nechsheves Pshia. So you see that Rashi defines the word Yifsha in the Gemara from the word Posheya as maybe he'll forget. I find that to be a weak argument. You can't, just because in one context the Gemara says the word Posheya is tantamount to forgetting, doesn't mean that that's true everywhere else. That's a weak argument. Okay, fine. Meidach Gisa Yesh Raya Sheshichacha Nikres Onus. On the other hand, now he's going to give us the counter arguments. There are sometimes grounds to say that forgetting something is not a posheya, but rather onus. Meha Gemara b'Bava Kama. There's a story of a man who was holding a gem for safekeeping. The shachach mimena, it was actually in his pocket. He forgot he was carrying it around in his pocket. The Amad Vinafla Vihizika. Oh, sorry, it was a stone, not a gem. It's a stone. It was in his pocket. He forgot it was in his pocket. It fell out of his pocket and ended up causing damage because I guess it's landed somewhere in a public area where people were tripping over it, or maybe it caused damage to someone's property. Adinhu shehu potter midalid dvarim dahainu tsar riboy sheves uboshes. He's exempt from certain additional compensatory damages, such as pain and suffering, medical expenses, workers' comp, humiliation. Avol chayiv benezek, ki adam muad la'olam, but he's liable for damage because a human being is considered to be always ready, at the ready to cause damage. Umashma lahedja sheshichacha lo nikres pshia ela ones. It sounds from there that when you forget something, that's considered to be an onus, and that's why the Gemara lets you off the hook when something falls out of your pocket without you realizing that you have something that you're carrying around that could be a cause of damage, which is an interesting thought. Although again, it may not be fully analogous because we're dealing with laws of damages, not laws of guardianship. V'chein ratza ledakdek b'shar Ephraim b'shutav sheshachach limkor es hachametz v'hachametz nesar bahana. There's an interesting shaila related to what we just went through as far as selling chametz. So you have two guys who own, let's say, a warehouse full of goods, and some of the goods are chametz. And so Reuven and Shimon are partners in the business. And Shimon says, I'm going to Mincha this afternoon. Do you want me to sell the chametz to my Rav? And Reuven says, no, don't worry about it. I already told my Rav I'm going to sell him the chametz, you know, at my shul. So Shimon says, okay, you're going to take care of it. Reuven says, I'll take care of it. No problem. Okay. So, and then Reuven goes ahead and forgets. He forgets to sell the chametz. And as a result, the chametz becomes asur bahana. Because if you don't sell your chametz, you can't use it. And there may be thousands of dollars of inventory of chametz. Let's say, they're partners in a liquor business. Okay. Now, there are multiple heterim here that a person could be somech on in a real life situation, because I'll just to give you an illustration, one heter you can rely on is that when I sell the chametz, I sell it on behalf of all the members of the shul, even those who forgot to come, and even those who come who are planning to come but end up. I had a guy this year drop off a shtar at my house at 11 a.m. Erev Pesach. 11 a.m. Come on, give me a break. Okay. Anyway, we'll hold it here, but it happens. It happens every year.
Who was it, Rabbi?
What? What's that?
I said, who was it?
His initials were JN. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. All right.
Okay, have a great day.
Good and